You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Ooh, well, it may sound like an episode from the Twilight Zone, UFOs flying over New York City. But yesterday, it actually happened. Take a look at some video posted on YouTube when something appeared over the sky in Chelsea. It stopped people in the streets as everybody stared at the sky and wondered, what in the world is this? And this is what it looked like at night, the very same object still in the sky hours later. And today, many still wondering what it was. Well, joining us now to give us some more insight on the subject is Jason Kendall. He's the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory Solar System Ambassador for New York City. And Leslie Kane, the author of UFOs, Generals, Pilots, and Government Officials Go on the Record. Welcome, both of you. Okay, so we're having fun with this. It's a great topic to talk about, but many people are wondering, honestly, what in the world was flying over Chelsea yesterday? Leslie, let's start with you. What's your take on what possibly it was?
I have to say that I think it's likely they were balloons. I mean, I've seen other photographs of video of balloons before where people have thought they were, quotes, UFOs. And they look a lot like balloons to me. I think it's just going to take time to figure it out. We have to remember, too, that UFO really means just something unidentified, and that's what it is. I did see on a blog just before I came down here, though, that they were giving away massive amounts of balloons on Times Square yesterday. And it was some kind of corporate sponsorship thing with the logo on the balloon, and this person even wrote that they were, lots of people were releasing them into the sky.
Well, that would be good publicity for that company if anybody could get the name. So, yeah. Jason, let us know. What do you think it possibly was?
Well, I agree. I think they were balloons. It makes sense that if you put a little bit of a weight below them and release them, they'll get up to a certain altitude and they'll stay there if they don't pop. So if there was no winds or anything like that, then they could, in theory, just stay there for a long time. And if they're made of mylar, they'll reflect light. Yeah, it makes sense to me that they'd be balloons.
All right. So this strange object has New Yorkers talking, regardless of what it was. Let's listen to what some of them were saying.
Do you think that if they really did have anything going on that we would ever find out?
Well, do you believe in UFOs?
No, because they'd make themselves known.
You think?
Yeah, they're smart enough, right? Wouldn't they wouldn't just come here and crash.
It's definitely a cover-up by the government. Society's not ready to know this. We're not ready to know what's really going on. So when an alien does come down here, people are going to think it's a movie set.
I think it was possible. You never know. I mean, this is the best city on Earth, so it would attract extraterrestrials.
Okay, so I know that this is really cute what people have to say, but Jason, seriously, why do you think that some people are quick to believe that we actually have visitors from another planet?
Well, I think it's quite logical that people like to believe in UFOs. We have a very strong faith in many, many things, and so we also have it part of our culture. We see science fiction all the time. There's many great, wonderful stories that people tell and great movies. And so people are accustomed to thinking in terms of UFOs and spacecraft. And when you see something you can't identify up in the sky, well, your mind begins to wonder no matter what.
That is so true. Okay, so Leslie, in your book, UFOs, Generals, Pilots, and Government Officials Go on the Record, you asked, is there such a thing as a UFO? What did your research tell you?
Well, yes, there actually is if you just identify a UFO as an unidentified flying object. There is some kind of physical phenomenon that has been well documented by officials, military, high-level military people, government officials around the world, which is all presented in the book. There is something mysterious and something unexplained that is going on in our skies. And I think it's not really a matter of believing in UFOs. It's a matter of looking at what we actually know about them, which isn't a great deal. Certainly we don't know that they're extraterrestrial.
And Leslie, let me just ask ask you on that point real quick. Do you happen to believe that we have been visited by some living creatures from outer space?
I mean, no.
Has any of your research shown you that? Any of the pictures you've seen over the years?
I can't say that I believe that because I think it's something that needs to be investigated. I mean, I'm very intrigued by the fact that there is physical evidence for some kind of phenomenon, and that needs to be further investigated before we can tell what it is and where it comes from and all the questions that all of us have about them.
And Jason, what about you? You're the NASA scientist. Let us know. I mean, come on. Is there really a possibility? I know you're like poo-pooing this, but honestly, could we really be the only living things in this universe?
I don't think we're the only living people in this universe or things. I just think if there are civilizations out there, they're so very, very, very far away that we will never visit them and we'll never talk to them. But that doesn't preclude there being life out there. I just think the type of life that's nearby, it might be in the form of bacteria close by home. It might be on Mars under the soil.
All right, well, let's listen to what some more New Yorkers had to say about this. So many people love to talk about it.
I thought it was like a weather balloon. I thought it was like something like totally like hundreds of people just sitting around like looking. And
I believe there are certain things that our government has kept from us, and I think a lot of it could be experimentation of modern technology, new aerospace technology. And
I don't know, it looks like something more from Back to the Future than anything.
So Leslie, got to ask you, of the government officials, pilots, does anybody really believe that in fact there is a possibility that we have been visited by a UFO?
Well, I mean, some of these officials may have entertained that idea on a personal level. They certainly would never proclaim it as truth. I mean, but, you know, for the people that have seen these things, and I'm talking about only a small percentage of cases, most UFO sightings can be explained, and I suspect that'll happen with the one we had yesterday. But for those people that have actually seen them in these exceptional cases, of course they have to consider what they call the extraterrestrial hypothesis. Just because other explanations have been ruled out, they're kind of stuck with this experience that they've had and no way to explain it. So again, we don't know yet, and hopefully we're going to have more studies that will give us more answers.
All right, well, it has been fun. Leslie, Jason, thanks so much for participating.
Stay connected with myfoxny.com mobile. Download the iPhone app or text Fox 5 to 46988 for other devices. Local news, weather, and traffic on the go with myfoxny.com mobile.